The night was silent except for the faint whisper of rain as it slid down the enormous glass walls of the Williams estate. The mansion sat proudly on a hill at the edge of the city, a monument of wealth and power. Its vast garden stretched endlessly, guarded by towering fences and an army of security cameras. Inside, everything was pristine, marble floors polished to a mirror shine, priceless art displayed beneath soft golden lights, and furniture so elegant it belonged in a museum. To outsiders, the Williams family lived a life of perfection. But perfection is often just a mask, hiding cracks beneath the surface. Sophia Williams was 23 and the only daughter of Richard Williams, a billionaire oil tycoon whose influence reached far beyond the city. She had grown up in luxury, surrounded by everything money could buy, but not everything money couldn't. Despite the glamorous life, Sophia often felt like a prisoner in her father's golden cage. Richard dictated every detail of her existence, the friends she could keep, the events she could attend, even the men she could love. And yet, love is a way of finding cracks in the strongest walls. 8 months ago, at a charity gala her father forced her to attend, Sophia met Daniel Cole. He wasn't like the other men who orbited her world. Daniel was charming, confident, and attentive. He made her feel seen in a way no one else ever had. What she didn't know was that Daniel had secrets of his own, debts, dangerous acquaintances, and a gambling problem that had sunk him deep into trouble. At first, his relationship with Sophia had been genuine, but the moment he discovered her last name and the staggering wealth attached to it, something inside him shifted. Behind his warm smiles and whispered promises, a darker plan began to take root. But Daniel couldn't pull it off alone. Enter Grace, the Williams' loyal housemaid. Or at least, that's what everyone thought she was. Grace had worked for the family for nearly 7 years, cleaning, cooking, and managing the household's endless demands. On the surface, she was obedient and grateful, but inside, she carried a storm of resentment. Every day, she watched Sophia flaunt designer dresses worth more than her entire year's salary, while Grace struggled to pay for her mother's hospital treatments. So when Daniel approached her one quiet afternoon, pulling her aside in the shadows of the garden, his proposal tempted her like nothing else. "I can make you rich, Grace," he whispered, glancing over his shoulder to ensure no one was watching. $200,000. Enough to change your life forever. I just need your help. One night, one small favor. Her heart pounded in her chest. $200,000. It was more than she could ever dream of making in a lifetime. "What do you want me to do?" she asked cautiously. Daniel's lips curved into a faint smile. "Just leave a few doors unlocked. Disable a camera or two. Make sure no one notices when Sophia steps out that night. I'll handle the rest." Grace hesitated for days, but when her mother's hospital call demanding another advance she didn't have, her hesitation crumbled. She agreed. The plan was set for Friday night, the perfect night, with Richard away on a business trip. Sophia believed Daniel had planned something special for her, a surprise dinner, a night under the stars, something romantic and spontaneous. Grace's job was simple: disable the main hallway cameras, leave the mansion gate slightly open, and ensure the security guard believed Sophia was home all night. But plans, no matter how perfect, have a way of unraveling. Friday arrived cloaked in fog and silence. Sophia, dressed in an emerald green silk gown, slipped out of her bedroom without a second thought. She didn't notice Grace in the hallway, standing stiffly in the shadows, her hands trembling as she clutched a dish towel. Daniel was waiting outside in his black SUV. His smile was warm, his kiss gentle. Sophia stepped into the car without suspicion. As the vehicle glided out of the estate and into the night, Grace whispered a silent prayer that everything would go as promised. But deep down, an unease clawed at her chest. Sophia began to notice something was wrong 20 minutes into the drive. "Daniel, this isn't the way to the restaurant," she said, her voice uncertain. He didn't look at her. "Change of plans. I thought we could go somewhere private. Somewhere we won't be disturbed." The SUV left the city lights behind, entering winding roads lined with towering trees. Her unease grew with every passing mile. By the time they reached an abandoned farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, her heart was racing. "Daniel, what's going on?" she demanded, stepping out of the car. Before he could answer, 2 masked men emerged from the darkness, moving fast. Sophia screamed. but one of them grabbed her, binding her wrist while the other gagged her mouth. "I'm sorry, Sophia," Daniel whispered, unable to meet her eyes. "I need this. We need this." Her muffled cries echoed into the night as they dragged her into the back of the SUV and sped away. By morning, chaos had erupted at the Williams estate. Richard Williams returned home early, only to find his daughter missing. He immediately contacted the authorities, hired private investigators, and put up a $1 million reward for information. Hours later, a chilling ransom demand arrived. $5 million. Unmarked bills. No police. You have 48 hours. But Daniel's plan was already spiraling out of control. Grace hadn't expected violence. She thought Sophia would be kept safe until the ransom was paid. But late that night, she overheard Daniel's accomplices whispering about what would happen after they got the money. "No loose ends," one of them muttered coldly. "We get the cash, and then we get rid of her." Grace froze. A sick wave of panic washed over her. Suddenly, $200,000 meant nothing. She had to make a choice: protect herself or save the girl she had practically raised. At 3 a.m., with trembling hands, she used a burner phone to call Rich anonymously. "They are planning to hurt her," she whispered. "I'll send you the location. But you didn't hear this from me." Richard didn't call the police. He called Victor Kane, an old friend and former intelligence operative. Within hours, Victor's team tracked the kidnapper's cabin deep in the woods. At dawn, they struck. The assault was swift and brutal. Daniel's accomplices were caught off guard. One tried to fight back but was quickly subdued. Another fled into the forest, disappearing into the mist. Inside the cabin, Victor found Sophia bound and terrified but unharmed. Daniel was dragged out screaming, begging Sophia to understand. "I did this for us," he shouted, his voice breaking. But Sophia only stared at him, silent tears streaming down her face. Daniel and one of his accomplices were arrested. Grace turned herself in later that day, confessing everything through sobs. Sophia returned home, but the ordeal left scars deeper than anyone could see. 2 weeks later, a black envelope arrived at the Williams estate. Inside was a single photograph, the masked man who had escaped, standing outside the mansion's gates. Scrawled across the bottom in blood-red ink were 3 chilling words: "This isn't over." And from that moment, the Williams family knew one thing: the nightmare had only just begun. Stories like this remind us just how fragile trust can be, and how betrayal often comes from those closest to us. If you enjoyed this thrilling story and want to hear more gripping, suspenseful tales like this one, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss another breathtaking story.